This is me in 2018 completing my first full-length Ironman event, Ironman Bolton, and I had a lot of plans after this to keep progressing with Ironman. My goal was to do one every single year after this point. Didn't really happen. The next year things kind of got in the way, work got in the way, and towards the end of 2019 my triathlon training really started to slip. There's some months where she did one run. Most of the time that was just taking the dog out for a run, and my training really started to fall apart. There were months where I hadn't been on my bike. In January of 2020 I decided I was going to get really back into my triathlon. I was going to do another full Ironman event. I tried to do the challenge where you run for every single day throughout January. I didn't manage to do every single day, but I still ran like 25 out of 30 days or something like that, which is really good going. I signed up for a marathon. I'd signed up for a 100-mile bike ride event on my birthday to get me trained up ready to do Ironman Portugal in September of 2020. And then
the coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades.
Yeah, my marathon was cancelled, the 100-mile bike ride was cancelled, and everything was kind of thrown up in the air. And my training started to dip as the year went on, and I didn't really have anything to focus on. But then at the end of July, it looked like there was one event that would potentially still go ahead. Outlaw X in Thornsby Park, which is about an hour and a half away from my house. All signs were pointing that they were trying to put things in place so that they could do the event even with all the COVID restrictions. The 8 weeks basically leading up to the event, my training was really focused. I only missed like 1 or 2 sessions. At this time I have a triathlon coach, so all my sessions were planned out for me, and I managed to hit most of my goals on most of the sessions. I didn't really have any set goal. My goal was just really to do the event. So the day before the race I got all my gear ready. So I've got my swim stuff. This will be all the stuff I'll wear before. I've got my cap, my tri-suit that I'll wear under my wetsuit. Then I've got my cycling stuff. My shoes are already in my bag over here, and so is my helmet. My number over there, and then it will be attached to the back of my jersey. Got my heart rate monitor, so I'll throw that on. Also got some socks and a little like head scarf thing to go under my helmet. It's probably going to be a bit chilly, and I want to be quite comfortable. And then for my running gear, I've got my Hokas, another headscarf just in case my one from the ride is all sweaty, and then I've got a number to go on the front of my running shirt, and then I've also got some shorts just in case, like I said, if it's cold I can throw those shorts on over the top of my tri-suit. This is the stuff I'll wear in the morning on the way to the race. I've got some flip-flops, tracksuit bottoms or shorts depending on what the weather's like, and a shirt. I'll also probably wear most of this clothes after the race as well, so I'll just kind of throw my flip-flops on afterwards. I've also got a towel to dry off. I shall go grab my bike before I throw it in the car. So this is my felt. I used my Carrera for my half Ironman and my full Ironman when I did that, and I'll probably edit the video of that at some point. But this year I upgraded to the felt. The reason I chose this one is because it was the most expensive bike you could buy on the Cycle to Work scheme, so it was £999. Last time I did triathlon I didn't have a Garmin computer. I've downloaded the course route on this as well, so I will be able to see my elevation as I go. And I've also got a little Garmin thing on my pedal to track my rotations per minute. I basically just had to drive all the way to Thornsby Park and drop the bike off. About an hour and a half later, probably just a little bit more, arrived. I've just got to go, put my bike up there, and then come back to the car. So do that now. It looks very grey, but it's not raining yet, so hopefully I will not get soaked. I'm 1 bike lighter, but 2 water bottles heavier. One of the changes I believe is that now it's a self-service aid station, so you have to have the water bottles beforehand. The racking was fairly normal, to be fair, and I just went on my own, obviously, to avoid having too many people there. Some people turned up with their whole family. You had to wear a face mask to go into the bike racking as well, which was alright. The finish line seems to be, I don't know whether it's normally like this Outlaw, but like quite a lot of space around it. So when I've done other events before, sometimes the finish line can be like down a quite kind of a smaller street, and you just have a crowd of people. It'd be interesting to see what it's like tomorrow at the finish line. I was told they were going to be doing like testing your temperature, but no, didn't have that. They just literally asked me if I had any symptoms, and I said no, and then turned up. I do think it would be an interesting thing. Like, imagine if they had tested my temperature and I was too hot, and they said, oh sorry, you can't do it tomorrow, would I get a full refund? Or is that why they're now just asking people instead? But then at the same time, someone could easily have symptoms and be like, well, I'm not wasting £100 or however much it was for the event. In the evening I ate a bit of pizza, I think I had some chocolate cake as well, and basically just got all my bits ready, before bed, tried to get a good bit of rest in there, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Morning. It is now 5:10 a.m. I've already had an email to say that the swim course is going to be made a little bit shorter. A little bit, I mean like a third of the distance. So originally it was 1.2 miles, which is about 2,000 meters. Now it's going to be 750 meters. But the reason for the course being made a little bit shorter is not because of like any COVID reasons. It's because the temperature in the water is going to be very cold. It won't be a very long swim, but it will be a very cold swim. They did also say that this means they're stretching out the start a little bit. So originally the cut off for the start was supposed to be 9 a.m, but now it's 10. But I still got a start time of like 8:25, so I'm just going to aim for that. Despite my massive bags under my eyes, I feel alright. I think I had like 7 hours sleep. So I'm going to have some porridge, some toast, some coffee, and then start driving. Jessie's already having her pre-race meal. Is that nice, Jessie? Jessie, was that nice? You having your pre-race meal?
I am. Banana and yogurt. Actually pretty good, to be fair.
Well, I can't see it because we don't have any lights in the kitchen. The course had been cut short. This didn't really bother me too much. As swimming was something I still hadn't practiced that much. I'd only done one open water swim in about 2 years, which was about the same distance as the race was going to be and was about 4 days prior. So, you know, I felt like I was fairly comfortable and I could do that distance quite easily. So we went ahead, went to the race. The start times had been thrown off a little bit and we weren't really sure what to expect. We have arrived.
For my race day.
You can take my place if you like.
No, I'm kidding.
Took us like an hour and a half to get here. We did stop and have, well, McDonald's. Well, Nicole got hash browns and I got a black coffee. And when we realised Nicole's now ate more food today than me, so she's like well prepared.
I got a bowl cut ready.
Yeah, Nicole's ate more carbs than I have, I think. But it's like, what, 7:30 now? Yeah, so we're going to get my bits out, go set up the bike, and then I suppose we'll start the race. What are you laughing at?
You ain't get my bits out.
There's no changing rooms.
Don't do that.
And it says there's no nudity allowed on the course, so you're not allowed to get your bits out.
That's good to know. Concentration.
Oh, are we making a TikTok or are we making a YouTube video? Come on. Flip it the other way.
What do you flip it the other way?
To record a video.
Oh.
Hi there. It's now my number to start. Well, I've got 10 minutes till I start, so I'm going to go make my way down to the swim start now. Should have started about 30 minutes earlier, which would have been nice because I've been getting nice and cold, but I'm going to get very cold in the water in a minute.
You're going to freeze?
Yeah. So the rule with face masks is you have to wear face masks all the time until basically you start the race. So I'll take my face mask into transition with me and then put it in my bag. And then I guess as soon as I finish, I'll have to put it back on again. While Nicole's spectating, she has to wear it like
all the time.
Yeah, so yeah, I think I'm ready to go.
No more poos.
No, had my free. Had a wee.
Feeling good?
Feeling alright. It's very blowy.
It is very blowy.
I don't know what this is going to sound like on the camera, but
we'll soon find out.
Yeah, I'm going to start. See you later.
Bye.
The race started and I set off ready to do my swim. The swim basically started with a dive into a lake, which wasn't really that cold considering that's why the event had been cut short, was because of the swim, and it was fairly fine. The worst part of the swim was actually running back and forth. The floor was just horrendous. Like, some of it was on grass, some of it was on like farmland, some of it was on like gravel pathways, which was not very nice on my bare feet.
Well done, babe. Cold?
I headed out onto the bike ride. This is where, you know, things were getting a little bit worse because you could kind of hear it was quite a windy day. I didn't really have any sort of goal on the bike, and that's kind of where I realised I'd messed up. So I'd had all my training plan put into place of what I was going to do, but then when I actually got to the race, which was my goal, was to get to the race, and it made my training really efficient, I didn't really have any further goal than that. My goal was just to finish. So I didn't really like overly exert myself. Probably I didn't go as hard as I could have on the bike, and then when we finished the bike, after a lot of the wind on the first like 40 or so miles, eventually the wind was behind me, but my legs were quite tired out at that point, so I just kind of coasted back in for the last 16 miles ready for the run. Went out on the run, and you know, it was an enjoyable run.
Well done!
But again, I didn't really have any sort of goal, so I just kind of did the run for the sake of doing the run, and I kind of finished the event.
Go on, babe!
This is John Langley, everybody!
It was interesting to do an event during COVID-19. I suppose my biggest takeaway was while my main goal to do training was to put an event, so I had something to focus on, I should have then had something to focus on during the actual event, which would have then, you know, kept me a little bit more driven. And that's just the person I am. If I don't have a goal or a reason to do something, I won't do it, or I'll do it and not put in all of my effort. The setup was interesting to see during COVID-19. So essentially, the race was kind of staggered starts, and I imagine that's what we're going to see going forward. Every event from now on for the foreseeable future will be staggered starts, whether it's a half marathon, a triathlon, just so that there's not so much pressure on people crowded together. Like, I just went back earlier and looked at my footage of my first Ironman event, or my first marathon as well, and it was so crowded, everyone starting at the same time. I just can't imagine that happening anymore. My time for the event was like 6 hours and 40 minutes, which was about 15 minutes slower than my Ironman in Weymouth, which kind of shows that my training leading up to the event was a little bit hit and miss. Probably the 8 weeks before were really good, but then the few months before that, not so great. So it's given me something to focus on going forward, give me a time to beat next time. And I'm glad I did the event now, looking back on it, because yeah, it's kind of like refocused my tasks. The plan for next year, sign up for a full Ironman and train for that and do it again. Why give me a look like?
Full Ironman?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Oh, it's so long.
You like being the support crew.
When I see you.
Yeah, you'll see me.
Like 5 times.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll do it faster this time.
Yeah, I want 10 hours.
Alright, that's my target.
Well done, John!
Oh, your ring fell off.
Oh, great.